Welcome. I know we're starting just a minute or two late, but that's okay. We've got a lot we're going to cover here today. Andy, you're fine. Welcome to Sweet Speak. This is where we dive in with top executives
Love it.
around a lot of topics. And I love the shirt sports. As a former sports anchor for CBS, NBC, and Fox, I
Really?
appreciate that.
Wow. I didn't
Um,
know. How perfect. Yeah,
but
I'm
I want to set the
represent.
stage, and then I'm going to pick on you a little bit about some of the stuff you've done with Orbit and some of the insights you have around AI. If you don't know Andy, you've been living under a rock. Andy is the co-founder and CMO of Orbit Media Studios, an award-winning digital marketing and web design agency based right here in Chicago. He's blocks away from me, people. It's exciting to have him this close. He's given around 100 presentations a year around whether it's web, AI, not just on C-suite. He's been a speaker at South by Southwest, social media world, and so much more. Hopefully, you've read his book, Content Chemistry, an illustrated handbook for content marketing. There it is. There it is. By the way, if you're not a huge reader, you have to watch. It's an hour-long video that Andy and Orbit put out just shy of a year ago. Generative AI for content marketers: 10 ways to use artificial intelligence for productivity and performance. I think I've watched that thing 10 times, Andy, and I
Whoa.
get something new from that each and every time. Teaches digital marketing at Northwestern University and Harbor Space University. Andy, welcome to Sweet Speed.
Thanks for having me, JD. I'm glad to be here and I'm looking forward to this. Let's dive in.
Let's dive in because I'm on a series about AI. We talked with a cybersecurity leader in Chase Cunningham, talked to Reza Razul's dealing and building this personal AI. It's exciting to dive into different areas. This one's near and dear to my heart as a marketer by
hmm
trade. You have used this quote by Paul Rotzer, founder of the Marketing AI Institute. Marketers who use AI will replace marketers who don't use AI. It's not about losing our jobs, is it? It's about using this technology to the best of our ability. So you talk about boiling content creation and promotion to two categories, right?
hmm
AI, it's training the AI and then training the AI to be like you. Tell me more about that concept and differentiation.
Yeah, I come at it from a point of view where I really don't care that much about speed or efficiency or saving time. And I know that people love it for that. Look how fast it made this thing for me. My obsession and my experience has always been that the top performers get so much better results than the next best performers that my goal is always just quality and performance. It's to make something that's better. What's the point of making things faster if the things that you make are kind of medium quality performers? Because the top performers get exponentially greater results in any channel, in any report. Go look at your own analytics or look at any research. So, how do you make something that performs better? Well, as usual, digital marketing is a test of empathy, and we have to make something that connects with the person in their moment of truth. How do you do that? You have to train the AI in who you're talking to, in your target. You have to upload a persona or an ideal client profile, or use a persona prompt to have it quickly make a synthetic member of your audience. And now it sort of knows like this person cares about these things. Perfect. Now you're ready to talk to it. Now you're ready to brainstorm with it. Now you're ready to give it something and ask what it's missing. And that, by the way, that last one, JD, this is my best use case by far, for sure, to date. Give it your persona, give it one of your key pages, not just content marketing, but like a money page, like a sales or service page. Upload that, like full page screenshot, like give it the whole thing. And then with a nice detailed prompt that tells the AI what success looks like, it will tell you what questions you failed to answer, what assertions you failed to support with evidence, what objections you didn't address. So yeah, AI powered persona driven gap analysis, that's the superpower so far for me. Highly recommended.
So, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions when it comes to marketers using AI tools for content?
Well, it's sort of a bipolar experience I think people have with AI. They make like, oh, it's magic. oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's magic. Oh, it's terrible. And we go back and forth by giving it the thing. And like, so I think one of the most common misconceptions is that it can do everything beautifully. And then maybe the second most common conception is it's worthless and garbage and don't use it at all. Isn't it weird how we sort of oscillate between these two? Like, uh, really, I think the best context for understanding this tool is in that one word. It's a tool. It's a tool like any other tool. You shouldn't trust it. You shouldn't abdicate your job to it. You shouldn't over rely on it. You shouldn't ignore it. Of like many other tools you have, give it a try, see if it works, but trust yourself, see what's useful from it, iterate, experiment. I think most of us should be budgeting maybe two hours a week just to experiment with AI. Just do weird stuff with it, try different stuff, or watch videos about it. The people that do that here in 2024 are going to be much better positioned than everyone else in 2025.
In my journalism career, I had a professor, Grant Price, who said accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. I think your mantra has been edit it, edit it, edit it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because what you're getting there is a good starting point, but it's also as good as what you put into it. So, talk to me about that challenge as a marketer to just
Sure.
rip what I put in there first and go, okay, this is good. And
Yep.
that process of editing, that human eye still needs to be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the way that my methods, I don't really, I mean, I talk to people who are like panicked about accuracy and bias. And then I go through processes. Here's a prompt. Here's a method. Here's the output. Take a look. And by the end of the conversation, they're not worried about accuracy and bias because what was I doing with it? Hey, this is my audience. What are their information needs? What do they care about? What are they hoping for? What are they afraid of? Oh, here's 11 things. Ah, now me as the strategist, right? I look at it and say, that one's a good one. Were they accurate? It doesn't really matter. I was brainstorming or auditing. Hey, here's my audience. They buy textiles for hospitality, restaurant furniture. They care about these 11 things. Give it a web page. Oh, you forgot to mention regulatory compliance for flame retardant materials. They care. Just mention that. So what is that? Am I worried about accuracy? If you sat over my shoulder and watched me use AI for an hour and a half, you probably wouldn't have that concern anymore because the method isn't to have it actually. I don't use it for writing. It doesn't write anything for me. I don't think it could write for me. I'm that might sound weird. Go look at my stuff. It's like single sentence paragraphs. It's like strong, punchy statements. It's like tiny bullet lists. It's like contributor quotes from experts. It's like lots of visuals and screenshots. How could AI write anything that I do? It doesn't really make sense. It can make a social media post, maybe. It's very spammy at that. You ever have it try to make a social media post? It's like 11
It's
emojis
awkward.
and all caps. It's awful. It can write an email body copy. It can write a YouTube description. Use it for it- I don't know. I don't think that yes, edit everything it gives you. And if you do it properly, I don't think that accuracy is you're not going to run into accuracy issues because you're the strategist, you're probably the writer, you're the certainly the editor.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Looking through, and I live on LinkedIn, as many of our listeners and viewers know. But if I see a post with a bunch of emojis, I'm like, well, I know where that came from, because they just
Oh,
ripped that and threw it on there. And there's something about that authenticity you need in social media. Maybe it can give you an idea, but to have it write it for you, it's still better coming from the top of your noggin. There's so many tools out there, and in your book and your video, you talk about all these tools that you can use. And every single day, I swear, every single day, there's more and more tools. That's a challenge as a marketer. How do we separate the wheat from the chaff, if you will? How do we make sure we get the best of the best to be able to use in because everything's an AI tool now.
I
Everything
know.
does AI.
I
How do we
know.
choose?
Well, here's the reality of the AI technical ecosystem. There are, let's say, 4 or 5 big models, right? Anthropic's Claude, ChatGPT's OpenAI's ChatGPT. There's Gemini. There's Copilot, and then there's the Meta made Lambda. Apple has one. Okay, these things cost tens of billions to train. There aren't new models launching every day, not like that. Most of the tools that you see are a thin layer of UX on top of another AI. OpenAI is called OpenAI because you can put in your credit card and you can use the API and you can send it tokens and it will give you back tokens and it charges you pennies based on how much you used, fractions of pennies. So all these tools, and they're launching at like a rate of 3 a day. I heard at one point, like 3 AI startups per day are launching. If you look at them, basically what they are is methods that are on top of AI that sort of it's injecting kind of a juiced up prompt based on some training data and its best practices, and then giving you back the response, maybe with a bit of pre-processing before you see it. In other words, you can do what most of these AI tools are doing if you are very good at prompting and know your job and your audience, and you build detailed prompts. So it's really unsettled. We don't know yet. Some of the benefits of these tools are powerful because they can help you with collaboration. Hard to collaborate with your team just using OpenAI. Like you kind of make a custom GPT. Well, who's in charge of it? Like, so yeah, Jasper and Writer and Copy.ai and the millions of others. Write Blogger I saw, which is cool. Anyway, that is kind of the state of it. I personally am not using any of those tools because I'm trying to keep my content sort of vanilla, where anyone can take a method and do it. I don't want to fall in love with a $500 per month tool and start recommending it, because not everyone who reads or watches my things are going to pay that. So, and I think honestly, a off the shelf, general public kind of model works very well for these things. On the other hand, a lot of what I'm doing with AI is also just taking reports out of other tools. I use SEMrush. SEMrush has a keyword gap tool, pretty Venn diagrams, what phrases you rank for, what phrases they rank for. Hard to analyze, though. It's like a list of like sometimes thousands of phrases that you're in some and they're in some and you're both in some. Export that, clean it up, upload it to AI, and have it recommend edits to your homepage based on the phrases your competitors are ranking for, but you didn't include. That's smart. Why not do that? That's a point of view. It's useful. So I think it's in that other tools that become more powerful in combination with AI, but you don't need an AI tool to do many of the most effective things, I think.
What area of marketing, what marketing function do you think is best served by AI? Because a lot of the marketers we have listening and watching today, they're maybe a department of two, a department of one, or smaller. What areas do you think would be beneficial most for these marketers?
I have I just did a research project on this. Is it possible to share during this,
Yeah,
JD? I'm going to give you a
you bet.
preview of something that no one has seen. You will be the first.
Oh, here it is.
Uh,
You're bringing it live to Sweet
this
Speak. I
is
love it.
Yeah, this is the conversation. You're going to see an infinite loop here for a second. Share screen, share entire screen, share screen 2, and then this is the chart. This data is only a few weeks old. I asked 1,000 bloggers how they're using AI. Can you see that?
Got it.
Last year versus this year, there are 20 far more bloggers are using AI than before. Only 20% of bloggers are not using AI. In other words, 4 out of 5 people are using it already. How are they using it? Ideation is number 1. AI for brainstorming topics. Fantastic use case. Writing headlines. Okay, give it the article, see what it's got for you. Outlines. Okay, talk to it about it. Have a conversation with the AI about this topic and have it write like maybe a content brief. First drafts. 1 in 4 bloggers are using AI to write a first draft, right? AI means never starting from a blank page. Complete drafts, not a common use case. Editing, sure, why not? And SEO edits, or non people writing in a language that's not their first language, it's a great use case. I teach a class with a lot of foreign language students, and their writing is better the last 2 years. Amazing, good for them. I'm happy. Why not use it? Creating visuals. So there you go. This next one shows who's getting results, and I have misgivings about this. 20% of all bloggers in our survey reported strong results. And you don't really see any much of a difference, right? Bloggers who use AI for these other things are kind of in that range. You're not seeing a big jump. Bloggers who use AI are more effective, are more likely to report strong results. But weirdly, yeah, it's that 6%. That's a small number. It's only 6% of our 1,100 bloggers in the survey reported. Of that 6%, 25% of them said that they're getting strong results from digital. They might just be really out in front and using all kinds of fancy tools. But anyway, so there you go. That's the data. You're the first to see it.
Yeah, it's interesting. One thing that wasn't on there, and I'm sure you dive into as well, is visual usage of AI. And you did some great examples of just don't put hands in there, right? But a lot
Right.
of usage
Getting a little better.
of.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about how we can better use the visual tools in our marketing today.
Well, to me, for now, these feel like I call them long shot prompts. Like a long shot prompt is when I'm just not even giving the AI very much. I'm just asking it like, hey, read a really weird content strategy that could totally work for this, and it actually does it. Like, I'm not expecting much though. My investment is 4 seconds and the likelihood of success is low. Who cares? Low investment. Low, I don't need it to be amazing. But so image generation, Dolly, Midjourney, Runway.ml, Stable Diffusion, they all feel like long shot prompts to me. Like make me a picture of a content marketer sitting at the edge of the universe, considering a new strategy, that targets HVAC installers. It'll be a cosmic picture with galaxies and a marketer with a laptop. Like, you're not art directing anything. You're just throwing weird words in and it makes you a picture, and that picture's probably stunning. So what's the best use case for that? Social media. Featured image for blog posts. Not much else. Designers need much more attention and care and pixel perfection. I need a wireframe that works for an HVAC plumber who's deciding which product to use and looking for a rep in their local area. There's a map and a filter, and it doesn't do that. It can't do that. It's not a good UX designer today. Will it be? Yeah, maybe. When would it be good for that? For the really generic, simple kind of page flow UXs that are mostly standardized, landing page architecture. Okay, fine. But no, I don't think, unless you don't need tight control and don't care about collaborating with an expert, I'm making a picture for the custom thumbnail for my podcast. Yeah, sure. Throw some words in there. See what it gives you. Use it. I need some kind of icon or logo for this weird Slack community I'm trying to start. Okay, sure. Throw some words in there. See what it gives you. So low stakes deliverables appropriate today. Social media assets, sure, but it's not going to make you an infographic or charts or things like that. Not well. Charts, actually, it does. It makes heat map matrices. You see those a lot in my content. That's a fun use case, but it's basically just a visual output from in kind of an audit prompt.
For you at Orbit Media, and you deal with a lot of different kinds of organizations, talk to me, how has it significantly improved your team's productivity when it comes to AI?
Well, there are some narrow use cases where it's amazing. So let's say you're moving a blog. We do web development. You're moving a blog from site A to site B. You've got 60 HTML files, and you need to strip out the header and footer. You need to remove the tags. You're trying to extract just the content. You want the formatting to be cleaned up. AI for within a spreadsheet, that is kind of amazing, right? You can just talk, the tools that do this now, you can sort of talk to the spreadsheet and ask it, hey, there's some of these paragraphs don't have p tags, put them back in, or whoa, some of these are just a multi, in other languages, remove those, or normalize the formatting and HTML tags for the, like, it can do very difficult things quickly, for which 2 years ago you'd have to write kind of very error-prone scripts. You'd have to do more careful data massage. Editing code. Hey, what's wrong with this Facebook tracking code? It'll tell you, right? So developers, data management, migrations, these are things that web companies like ours have to do, and it does very well. I'm also finding use cases where you can, I mean, just for marketers, a lot of it is like, this is these pages here are on point, on brand. Create a style guide from this content, and you give it 60 pages, and it writes a style guide for that. Now apply that style guide to these 20 new pages I'm working on. Oh, it'll kind of help normalize or standardize the voice and tone between things. It can do some of that. But there's infinite use cases, so it's very hard to even figure out or research what people are doing. You just sort of have to give everybody the tools and then invite them to explore. And people are finding all these like micro use cases that maybe save them a little time or help them get a little better quality. People who live in spreadsheets, people who write content, people who are editors, people who analyze data. We're all using it in very different ways. So it's a great question with a million answers.
You and I know the answer to this next question, but we have some marketers on here who may be getting pressure from leadership going, well, you can just use AI. You don't need additional headcount, or somebody leaves. You don't need to replace them. That's a challenge a lot of marketers are having today because these tools are out there. Again, it goes back to the human aspect. But what advice would you give these people to have that conversation, saying we need marketers to have the oversight?
But I don't think marketing is an area yet where you're seeing jobs replaced. I think that for most people, marketers maybe especially, we're at a point where you're seeing tasks replaced. So this was a prediction years ago. I forgot the name, but it was an editor of Wired magazine talking about artificial intelligence like 10 years ago. And he said, yeah, you're going to see like these, there are changes in technology where an entire industry is sort of overhauled at once. Like containerization for shipping and ports eliminated longshoremen, like all at once, the spinning jenny and weavers. Like these are things like going back hundreds of years. It's always been like that. But right now, the state of the industry is that it's sort of useful for tasks, but I really don't hear even stories about, there's a few famous ones where like an entire group of, a department got eliminated and replaced by AI. If there is an area for that, it's sort of like character design, sadly, in the gaming industry. It's amazing how, the outputs of these image AI tools for character design. Tough time to be an illustrator. I don't have any. That's just me seeing another industry from a distance. I'm concerned for creatives around the world, but I don't think that really is impacting most of our readers or viewers. Me and you, DAD.
I know you've been, for one, an early adopter when it comes to AI, especially for marketing and for building campaigns and marketing initiatives. Talk to me a little bit about what scares the pants off of you looking into the future when it comes to AI, specifically for marketers.
Well, I worry about the performance for the brands where the marketing teams have just sort of abdicated their job to the AI, and it's a race to the bottom for creating lots of low quality content. I worry about the brands where the marketing team says, we need 10 articles for SEO per week. And they use short, foolish prompts that write these really generic pieces. I think there's no security for those brands. Because if you could write an article with a prompt, copy and paste it into a CMS and make it live, really, how clever were you? Can't your audience write that same prompt? You just created content on exactly the area that is the most at risk, because those are the simple prompts that will go away, where people won't even search, where the visitor goes to Perplexity or to ChatGPT and just asks the AI for the answer. If you made something with that little effort, remember, your audience can also make that same thing with that tiny effort, right? That's not what we should be doing. So job security and brand equity and longevity for companies is when they produce things that are differentiated even in the AI era. I'll give you two examples. New original research, that chart I showed you, you can't make that without talking to 1,000 bloggers. AI can't really do that, right? And strong opinion, right? I made a statement a minute ago. AI shouldn't really be used for writing. That's a point of view that AI doesn't have, it can't have, it doesn't care, it doesn't have any beliefs. So strong opinion and original research are the most secure content strategies going forward. They're highly differentiated. They have been forever. They're difficult. They're more difficult to do, but that's where victory lies. Don't take shortcuts. They take too long. It's not going to work.
Let's put that forward thinking, gazing into the crystal ball, reading the tea leaves, if you will, Andy. Talk to me a little bit about, in 3 to 5 years, where do you see marketers using these tools the most?
Well, it will be more embedded in the workflow where wherever you're writing, I don't know if it's a Google Doc or right inside a CMS or inside some other tool, you're going to be going back and forth with the tool, talking to it about the audience. Yeah, do they care about this? Yeah, they do. Okay, let's include a paragraph for that. Here's a paragraph. I think it should start with a stronger opening. Here's some possible openings. Let's use number 2. Is there a visual that could support this? Yeah, I found one on the other site. Okay, let's use that. Make sure to add the link. Okay, great. That looks pretty good. You know, what do we have else on my site, that I could link to from this? Oh, well, here's 4 articles. Choose the middle, choose the number 3. We'll link to that. Okay, put in that internal link. The process for creating might be more like talking to a tool, going back and forth, where it's kind of making things and you're kind of asking for changes, and writing may feel more like, it's going to be highly accessible, right? You won't even be using your keyboard as much. But yeah, that's probably a safe prediction, is that there's going to be tons of back and forth iteration between you and an LLM during the process of creating things. And it might be enjoyable. I don't know. We'll see.
Wonderful. Andy, this has been fantastic. Listen, I could talk to you for hours on this, and we'll have to do that over a pint. But lastly, talk to me about Orbit Media and how you guys help people.
Orbit Media is a digital agency focused on websites. We do web development and website optimization. We do these mostly for kind of mid-sized B2B brands, mostly for lead generation goals. We have a full-time staff of 55 experts and strategists and specialists. And this is year 24. So our goal is to be the best web development company for B2B lead gen websites in Chicago and around the country.
Wonderful. Andy, thank you so much for being with us here. And if you want to see past episodes of Sweet Speak, you can go to jamesdewayne.com. It was on the crawl earlier. Andy, thank you so much today.
Thank you, JD. Let's hang out more. We're neighbors.
Absolutely.